Welcome to the second chapter of Security Principles. Which of the following is an example of a compensating security control? The options are firewall, antivirus software, encryption, intrusion detection system. The encryption is a compensating security control because it is used to provide an additional layer of security when other security controls are not sufficient. For example, if data is transmitted over an insecure network, it can be encrypted to prevent it from being intercepted and read by any unauthorized parties. So the correct answer is encryption, the third option. What is the purpose of intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems in technical controls? The options are to securely store sensitive data, to encrypt sensitive data, to monitor network traffic for malicious activity, to enforce access control policies between a computer network and the internet. The purpose of intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems in technical controls is to monitor network traffic for malicious activity and to alert administrators of any suspicious activity. Basically, they are designed to detect and prevent cyber attacks on computer networks. So the correct answer is the third option, to monitor network traffic for malicious activity. Your company is planning to implement two-factor authentication for its employees. What is the main advantage of two-factor authentication over traditional password-based authentication? The options are: two-factor authentication eliminates the need for employees to remember their passwords. Two-factor authentication eliminates the risk of password theft. Two-factor authentication is more convenient for employees. Two-factor authentication provides stronger security for the company's sensitive information. Now, the main advantage of two-factor authentication over traditional password-based authentication is that it provides a stronger security for the company's sensitive information. Two-factor authentication adds an additional layer of security beyond just a password by requiring the user to provide a second factor, such as a security token or a temporary code, to complete the authentication process. This makes it much harder for attackers to gain access to sensitive information because they would need to not only guess the password but also to gain access to the second factor. So the correct answer is the fourth option. Two-factor authentication provides stronger security for the company's sensitive information. What is the purpose of having a disaster recovery plan in an organization? The options are to ensure the security of information, to ensure the confidentiality of information, to ensure the integrity of information, to ensure the availability of information. A disaster recovery plan is an important aspect of information security, which helps to ensure the availability of information and services in the event of a disaster or any other interruption. Basically, the plan outlines the procedures and processes that an organization will follow to restore critical systems and services to normal operation as quickly as possible. The disaster recovery plan helps to ensure the availability of information and services, which is essential for the continual operations of the organization. So, the correct answer is the fourth option, to ensure the availability of information. Your company is looking to implement a more secure authentication system for its employees. Which of the following methods would provide the highest level of security? The options given are password-based authentication, biometric authentication, smart card authentication, token-based authentication. Now, if you look into the options, basically the biometric authentication provides the highest level of security compared to other authentication methods. The biometric authentication uses unique physical characteristics such as fingerprints or iris scans to verify the identity of a user. This method is secure as biometric characteristics are unique to each individual and cannot be easily stolen or guessed like passwords. However, biometric authentication may require specialized hardware and has potential privacy concerns. So, for the asked question, the correct answer is the second option, biometric authentication. Which of the following is a requirement of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR? The options are the appointment of a data protection officer, data protection by design and by default, the right to be forgotten, or all of the above. The GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, requires data protection by design and by default the appointment of a data protection officer and the right to be forgotten, among other things. So if you look into the options, all the first three options are the requirements. So the correct answer is all of the above. What is an example of using something the user has an authentication factor in multi-factor authentication? The options are a password, a smart card, a PIN code, a fingerprint scan. The smart card is an example of something the user has that can be used as an authentication factor in multi-factor authentication. Smart cards contain a microprocessor that stores the digital certificates and can be used for secure authentication. They provide an additional layer of security beyond just a password and are often used in combination with other authentication factors for added security. So the correct answer is this smart card. In the context of privacy and information security, what is the definition of personal information? The options given are information that is not sensitive, information that is not related to an individual, information that identifies an individual or is associated with an individual, information that is not protected by privacy laws. Personal information in the context of privacy and information security refers information that identifies an individual or is associated with an individual. Personal information can include information such as name, address, date of birth, and other identifiable information. Personal information is protected by privacy laws, and organizations have the responsibility to protect it from unauthorized collection, use, or even disclosure. So the correct answer is the third option, information that identifies an individual or is associated with an individual. Why is it important to prioritize risks? The options are to minimize the impact of risks, to ensure that resources are effectively utilized, to maximize the impact of risks, to avoid addressing risks. The most important thing when we prioritize the risks is to help the organizations to focus their resources on the risks that pose the greatest threat to their operations, to ensure that resources are effectively utilized to mitigate or manage those risks. So the correct option is the second option, to ensure that resources are effectively utilized. Which of the following is a requirement of the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS? The options given are: antivirus software must be installed and updated regularly, cardholder data must be encrypted, firewall configurations must be secure, all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard is a comprehensive set of requirements for enhancing payment card data security. The standard requires organizations to implement a number of security measures, including secure firewall configurations, encryption of cardholder data, and regular updating of antivirus software. These measures are designed to help to reduce the risk of payment card fraud and to protect cardholder data from theft or misuse. What are the key components of a non-repudiation system? The options given are encryption, compression and error correction. The second option is network address translation, virtual private networks and proxy servers. The third option is digital signatures, message authentication codes and public key infrastructure. The fourth option is firewalls, intrusion detection systems and antivirus software. The key components of a non-repudiation system is the digital signatures, message authentication codes and public key infrastructure are the key components. Digital signatures are used to provide evidence of the authenticity of the origin of a message or transaction, whereas the message authentication codes provide a secure means of verifying the integrity of a message or transaction. And the public key infrastructure is used to manage and distribute the public keys needed for digital signatures and message authentication codes. So the correct answer is the third option, digital signatures, message authentication codes and public key infrastructure. What is the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS? The options given are a set of regulations for secure online transactions, a set of standards for data encryption, a set of guidelines for secure software development, a set of requirements for enhancing payment card data security. The correct option is the fourth option, a set of requirements for enhancing payment card data security. The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, is a set of requirements designed to enhance payment card data security. The PCI DSS applies to all organizations that process, store or transmit cardholder data regardless of the size or number of transactions. The standard is intended to help ensure that all cardholder data is protected against theft and misuse to reduce the risk of payment card frauds. What is the definition of an asset in the context of cybersecurity and risk management? The options are a measure of a company's profitability, an item of economic value that a company or individual owns or controls with the expectation that it will provide future benefit, a liability that has negative impact on a company's financial statement, a process used to reduce financial risk in an organization. An asset is an item or economic value that a company or individual owns or controls with the expectation that it will provide future benefit. For example, a financial gain or increased efficiency. So the correct option here is the second option, an item of economic value that a company or individual owns or controls with expectation that it will provide future benefit. What is the difference between data integrity and data consistency? The options given are: the first option, data integrity refers to the consistency of the information with the rules and constraints of the database, while data consistency refers to the accuracy and completeness of the information. The second option is, data integrity refers to the security of the information, while data consistency refers to the accuracy and completeness and the synchronization and coherent across different systems or copies of the information. The third option is, data integrity refers to the accuracy and completeness of the information, while data consistency refers to the synchronization and coherent across different systems or copies of the data and to the consistency of the information with the rules and constraints of the database. And the fourth option is, data integrity refers to the availability of the information, while data consistency refers to the accuracy and completeness of the information. Now let us understand these terms in a way that we can decrypt the answer. Data integrity and data consistency are two essential concepts in the field of data management, but they refer to different aspects of data quality and accuracy. Now, this data integrity refers to the accuracy, completeness, and reliability of data throughout its entire life cycle. It ensures that data remains unaltered and free from any unauthorized modifications, corruptions, or errors. Maintaining data integrity is crucial for data reliability and trustworthiness. Various mechanisms such as checksums, cryptographic hashes, data validation rules, and access controls are used to enforce data integrity and to prevent data corruption or tampering. Now let's come to the data consistency. Data consistency, on the other hand, deals with ensuring that data remains synchronized and coherent across different systems or copies of the data. In a distributed or multi-node environment, maintaining data consistency becomes a challenge as multiple users or processes might be accessing and updating the same data simultaneously. Inconsistent data can lead to problems such as conflicting information and incorrect decision making. Techniques like locking mechanisms, transactions, and synchronization protocols are used to achieve data consistency in such environments. So, the correct option here is the third option, which says that data integrity refers to the accuracy and completeness of the information, while data consistency refers to the synchronization and coherent across different systems or copies of the data and to the consistency of the information with the rules and constraints of the database. What are some advantages of using qualitative risk assessment tool? The options given are: the first option, improved flexibility in accessing risks. The second option is improved understanding of subjective factors affecting risks. The third option is improved ability to prioritize risks based on expert judgment. And the fourth option is all of the above. One advantage of using a qualitative risk assessment tool is that it can provide improved flexibility in assessing the risks. By using subjective data such as expert judgment and scenario analysis, organizations can better understand the subjective factors affecting risks and prioritize risks based on this understanding. This type of tool can also provide improved ability to prioritize risks based on expert judgment. So all of the above options are correct. Flexibility in assessing the risks, understanding of subjective factors, and improved ability to prioritize the risks. So the correct answer is the fourth option, all of the above. Which of the following is an example of a confidentiality control in information security? The options given are antivirus, access control, encryption, or the firewall. Encryption is a confidentiality control in information security that provides protection for sensitive or confidential information. It uses mathematical algorithms to scramble the data, making it unreadable to anyone without the proper decryption key. Encryption ensures that the data remains confidential and secure during transmission or even in storage. So the correct option is the third one, encryption. Your organization is about to embark on a major IT project that involves the implementation of new software. What risk management strategy would you recommend to minimize the impact of risks associated with the project? The options are ignoring the risks and hoping for the best, transferring the risk to another party, eliminating all risks, implementing controls to reduce the likelihood of risks occurring. When embarking on a major IT project, it is important to minimize the impact of risks associated with the project. One effective way to do this is by implementing controls to reduce the likelihood of risks occurring. This could involve conducting a risk assessment to identify potential risks and then implementing controls such as project management methodologies and quality assurance processes to reduce the likelihood of these risks occurring. By reducing the likelihood of risks occurring, organizations can minimize the impact of risks and ensure the success of the project. So the correct answer is the fourth option, implementing controls to reduce the likelihood of risks occurring. Which of the following is not a requirement for maintaining confidentiality in information security? The options are data backup, access control policies, user authentication, physical security. Data backup is not a requirement for maintaining confidentiality in information security, although it is an important aspect of ensuring data availability and disaster recovery. Confidentiality is mainly concerned with the protection of sensitive or confidential information from unauthorized access or disclosure. The other options, such as the access control policies, user authentication, and physical security, are all important requirements for maintaining confidentiality in information security. So the correct option is data backup, which is not a requirement for maintaining confidentiality in information security. What is the purpose of ISC Code of Ethics? The options are to promote competition in the marketplace, to set standards for professional behavior in the information security field, to enforce compliance with laws and regulations, to provide guidance for resolving conflicts of interest. The ISC Code of Ethics is designed to set standards for professional behavior in the information security field. So the correct option is the second option. What are some common methods used for risk identification? Root cause analysis, brainstorming, SWOT analysis, all of the above. There are several common methods used for risk identification, including the brainstorming, root cause analysis, and SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. These methods can be used to identify and understand the risks facing an organization and to determine the likelihood and potential impact of those risks. So the correct answer here is all of the above. What is the process of protecting confidential information called? The options are data backup, data protection, data encryption, data recovery. Data protection is the process of protecting confidential information from unauthorized access or disclosure. It can include a variety of measures such as encryption, access controls, user authentication, and physical security. The goal of data protection is to maintain the confidentiality of the information and to ensure that it remains private and secure. So the correct answer is data protection. What are the factors that influence risk prioritization? The options are cost of mitigation, impact of the risk, probability of the risk, all of the above. Risk prioritization is influenced by a number of factors, including the potential impact of the risk, the probability of the risk occurring, and the cost of mitigation. These factors are taken into consideration when determining the priority of risks and to determine the most effective approach to mitigate or manage those risks. So the correct option is the fourth one, all of the above. What is the main goal of the payment card industry data security standard, PCI DSS? The options given are to protect sensitive information stored, processed, or transmitted by organizations, to ensure the security of financial data of merchants, to protect sensitive financial information or individual customers, to ensure the security of online transactions. The main goal of the payment card industry data security standard, PCI DSS, is to ensure sensitive financial information, credit card data of individual customers stored, processed, or transmitted by organizations. So the correct answer is the third option, to protect sensitive financial information of individual customers. What is the main difference between procedures and standards in an organization's governance process? The options are standards provide guidelines while procedures outline specific steps. Standards are more specific than procedures. Procedures are enforced by regulations while standards are not. Procedures are mandatory while standards are optional. Procedures are detailed step-by-step instructions for how to complete a specific task. Standards provide guidelines for acceptable behavior and practices, but do not provide the level of detail that procedures do. Standards provide a basis for the development of procedures. So the correct answer is the first option. Standards provide guidelines while procedures outline specific steps. What are the rights of individuals under the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR? The options are right to access, right to data portability, right to be forgotten, all of the above. The GDPR gives individuals several rights with respect to their personal data, which includes the right to be forgotten, the right to access, and the right to data portability. The right to be forgotten allows individuals to request the deletion of their personal data under certain circumstances, such as when the data is no longer necessary for the purpose of which it was collected or processed. The right to access gives individuals the right to obtain confirmation as to whether or not their personal data is being processed and to receive a copy of their personal data. The right to data portability allows individuals to receive their personal data in a structured, commonly used and machine-readable format and to have their personal data transmitted to another data controller without any hindrance. So the correct option is all of the above. With this, we have come to the second part of security principles session. I hope you have all gathered a bit of knowledge on security principles. If you go through each and every single slide and understand what I have explained in each slide about the question and the answers, it will be very easy for you to have a good memory of that question and to answer in the certification examination. So if you like the video, please subscribe and share. Thank you.